Hello everybody and welcome to What About the Game. Today I'm going to be talking about Rodea The Sky Soldier for the Nintendo Wii U. So Rodea The Sky Soldier begins 1000 years in the past. The Naga Empire has overdeveloped, and seeing no other option they plan to invade the Sky Kingdom of Garuda, which only crosses their path every millennium. The daughter of the Emperor decides to go against her father and escapes with the special key. She's accompanied by her bodyguard Rodea, who is actually a robot with a heart. Anyways, it's not long before the Empire catches up with them. The princess decides to return, but not before splitting the key and giving half to Rodea and sending him to Garuda alone. It then picks up 1000 years later when Rodea is awoken by a young mechanic called Ion. Conveniently, right around the time another invasion is imminent, and Rodea and Ion team up together to stop Naga once and for all. The story is fine enough, it doesn't dwell on anything too long. The character interactions are pretty decent, it's a nice localization, although it is quite like a Saturday morning cartoonish, I guess. That's not a bad thing. So Rodea is a 3D action game about flying. The stages in the land of Garuda are made up of dozens of small islands floating in the sky, and to get to the end of each stage you need to use this flying mechanic to go between locations. I'll be honest, the flying controls are a little awkward and clunky. To fly you first need to jump in the air with the A button, then while mid-air you press it again to start flight preparation. At this point you have to aim the reticule at where you want to go and press A again. It sounds simple enough, but targeting exactly where you want to go can be a little twitchy, and you'll often find yourself heading somewhere you don't want to be going. Rodea can only fly continuously for about 10 seconds at a time, so you're constantly switching between the ground and flying, although you can keep the flying up indefinitely if you jump off walls and things. It definitely takes a while to get used to. And this game was originally designed as a Wii game with pointer controls, so I can see it being much better and more accurate on the Wii than it is actually here. What I don't see being any better are the camera controls. There are plenty of enemies scattered around the islands of Garuda, but your greatest adversary will be the camera. You're constantly fighting it. Most of the time you really can't see what you want to be looking at. You're always fighting it. It really does not make things easy for you. I died countless times just because I couldn't see what was coming. So as Rodea is making his way through the 25 chapters in the game, there are plenty of enemies in his path. You can take most of them out by targeting them when you're in flight mode, and then once you get close enough you can do a boost attack by pressing the B button. This mostly works, but there was more than a few occasions where I just get hit myself instead. If you want to play it a little bit more safe, later in the game you get a gun, along with a couple of other power-ups. But I found the gun to be the most useful because you can take enemies out from a distance, and although aiming is a little dodgy, and it's a lot more safer and less painful overall. You don't have to take any risks with the gun. There are even boss battles in Rodea as well. You have two different types of boss battles. The first type is fighting against giant robotic enemies, kind of like Shadow of the Colossus. So you have to fly around and just hit the weak points along its body. These battles can be pretty epic too. They can be actually really fun when the camera isn't getting in the way, of course. The second type of boss battles are when Rodea goes against his robot siblings. Now these are much faster paced, and I'd say they're more difficult overall, especially as the game goes along. Later on in the game the boss battles can be pretty brutal, almost frustratingly so. Aside from just completing the levels, you can collect various things along the way. If you destroy enemies, sometimes you'll pick up parts, and if you gather enough of these parts, then you can use them to upgrade Rodea's stats and abilities. But you'll need to take out a lot of enemies if you want to take this seriously. The second thing that you can collect are medals. These are either bronze, silver or gold, and you can use these to unlock sort of like bonus content like music tracks and character skins and so on. These are actually really well hidden in the stage 2. It rewards a lot of exploration, which I think some of you might like if you want to take the game at a more slower pace. So awkward controls, very unhelpful camera. The game's automatically got serious problems, and I think it's a really big shame actually, because it's genuinely a good idea. You know, and when the free-flowing flight works, it really works. It feels great. A really good game could have been made from this. And I can almost see the creative spark that went through the designers as they began developing this game. During my 10 hours completing Rodea The Sky Soldier, I did enjoy it when the camera and controls weren't frustrating me, which to be honest was most of the time. And if you can't look past those flaws, those really big flaws, then I can't really recommend it. Which is a shame because, like I said, it has a lot of promise. You know, just a little more love, a little more care, more polish on the visuals and the programming. Rodea could have been something great, but in the end it's more of a flawed curiosity. I'd actually like to see more of Rodea in the future. He's a great character and I think he's a great concept too. Okay guys, if you've enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe for plenty more content. Read the full review of Rodea The Sky Soldier at whataboutthegame.com and keep up to date with everything that I do by following me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are below. Thanks guys, bye bye.